Welcome to BPO and Beyond, financial freedom for BPO employees in the Philippines. BPO and Beyond podcast helps us empower Filipino BPO professionals to achieve financial freedom through career advancement, smart investing, and entrepreneurship. We deliver actionable strategies tailored to your unique challenges and opportunities. Stop dreaming about financial independence. Start building it. Your promotion, your future, your freedom. Episode 14, Bridging the Gap. What to do when you're not on the same wavelength with your manager. Welcome back to Career Compass, the podcast that helps BPO professionals navigate their career journey towards success and financial freedom. Today, we're addressing a challenging workplace dynamic that can significantly impact your career growth. What to do when you and your manager are not on the same wavelength. This situation is incredibly common in BPO environments, where managers and team members may have different communication styles, work approaches, priorities, or expectations. When this misalignment occurs, it can lead to frustration, misunderstandings, poor performance evaluations, and limited advancement opportunities. Whether your manager prefers detailed reports while you like to keep things brief, they value process adherence while you focus on results, or you simply seem to speak different professional languages, today's episode will provide you with practical strategies for bridging these gaps and building a more productive working relationship. We'll cover how to assess the nature of your misalignment, adapt your communication and work style, build understanding from both sides, and know when alternative approaches might be necessary. Understanding different types of misalignment. Before diving into solutions, it's important to understand the various ways you and your manager might be on different wavelengths. Communication style differences are among the most common misalignments. Your manager might prefer detailed written updates while you communicate better verbally. They might want frequent check-ins while you prefer autonomy. They might be direct and blunt while you prefer diplomatic language. Work approach preferences can create significant friction. Some managers focus heavily on process and procedure, while others prioritize results regardless of method. Some prefer collaborative decision-making, while others make quick, independent decisions. Priority and focus differences can lead to constant tension. Your manager might prioritize customer satisfaction above all else, while you focus on efficiency. They might emphasize individual performance, while you value team collaboration. Personality and temperament mismatches can make daily interactions challenging. Introverted employees working for extroverted managers, detail-oriented people reporting to big-picture thinkers, or cautious individuals working for risk-taking leaders. Experience and generational gaps can create different perspectives on work, technology, communication, and career development. These differences can lead to misunderstandings about expectations and approaches. Strategy 1. Conduct a relationship assessment. The first step in addressing misalignment is understanding exactly where the gaps exist and what's causing them. Analyze your manager's communication preferences by observing how they interact with others, what information they request, how they prefer to receive updates, and what communication methods they use most frequently. Identify their work style patterns by noting their decision-making approach, how they handle deadlines and pressure, their preference for detail versus big picture, and their approach to problem-solving and conflict resolution. Understand their priorities and values by observing what they emphasize in meetings, what achievements they recognize, what concerns they express most frequently, and what goals they focus on consistently. Assess your own preferences and tendencies to understand where the differences lie. Be honest about your communication style, work approach, priorities, and personality traits that might clash with your manager's style. Document specific examples of misalignment to identify patterns and understand the scope of the challenge. This helps you focus your efforts on the most important areas for improvement. Strategy 2. Adapt your communication style. Once you understand the differences, the most effective approach is often to adapt your communication to match your manager's preferences. If your manager prefers detailed information, provide comprehensive updates even if you naturally prefer brevity. Include background context, specific data, and thorough explanations of your reasoning and approach. If your manager likes frequent communication, increase your check-ins and updates even if you prefer working independently. Send regular progress reports, ask for guidance proactively, and keep them informed about developments. If your manager prefers written communication, document your conversations and follow up with email summaries. Provide written reports and updates rather than relying solely on verbal communication. If your manager is results-focused, emphasize outcomes and achievements in your communications. Lead with the bottom line and then provide supporting details if needed. If your manager values process, demonstrate your adherence to procedures and explain your methodology. Show how you're following established protocols while achieving results. Strategy 3. Build understanding and empathy. Work to understand your manager's perspective, pressures, and constraints that might influence their management style. Consider the pressures your manager faces from their own supervisor, organizational demands, customer requirements, and performance metrics. Understanding these pressures can help you see why they prioritize certain things or communicate in specific ways. Learn about their background and experience to understand how it shapes their approach. Their previous roles, industry experience, and career path can provide insight into their management style and preferences. Ask questions to understand their reasoning behind decisions and approaches. Instead of assuming negative intent, seek to understand the logic and constraints that drive their choices. Show empathy for their challenges and demonstrate that you understand their position. This builds trust and makes them more likely to work with you on improving the relationship. Strategy 4. Proactively address expectations. Many misalignments stem from unclear or mismatched expectations about roles, responsibilities, and performance standards. Schedule a formal conversation about expectations and working styles. Ask your manager to clarify their preferences for communication, reporting, decision-making, and collaboration. Share your own working style and preferences while demonstrating flexibility. Explain how you work best while showing willingness to adapt to their needs. Create written agreements about communication frequency, reporting formats, decision-making processes, and other key aspects of your working relationship. Establish regular check-ins to discuss how the working relationship is progressing and make adjustments as needed. Strategy 5. Find common ground. Look for areas where your approaches and priorities align and build on these shared foundations. Identify shared goals and objectives that you both care about achieving. Focus conversations and collaboration around these common priorities. Find values that you both hold, such as customer service, quality, efficiency, or team development. Use these shared values as a foundation for building understanding. Discover complementary strengths where your different approaches can actually benefit the team and organization. Frame your differences as valuable diversity rather than problematic misalignment. Collaborate on projects or initiatives where your different perspectives can create better outcomes. Show how your varied approaches can complement each other. Strategy 6. Demonstrate flexibility and growth. Show your manager that you're willing to adapt and grow rather than being rigid in your approach. Experiment with their preferred methods and approaches, even if they feel unnatural initially. Give their way a genuine try before concluding it doesn't work for you. Ask for feedback on your adaptation efforts and show that you're actively working to improve the relationship. This demonstrates professionalism and commitment to success. Document your efforts to adapt and the results you achieve. This shows your manager that you're taking the relationship seriously and making genuine progress. Celebrate small wins and improvements in your working relationship. Acknowledge when communication improves or when you successfully adapt to their preferences. Strategy 7. Seek mediation and support. If direct efforts to improve the relationship aren't successful, consider involving others who can help bridge the gap. Consult with HR or senior managers about strategies for improving working relationships. They may have insights or resources that can help. Seek mentorship from someone who works well with your manager or has a similar management style. They can provide tips and strategies for effective collaboration. Consider whether a facilitated conversation with a neutral third party might help address the misalignment more effectively. Look for training or development opportunities focused on communication, working styles, or relationship building that might benefit both you and your manager. Strategy 8. Know when to consider alternatives. While adaptation and relationship building should be your first approach, there are situations where alternative solutions might be necessary. If the misalignment is causing significant stress, impacting your performance, or limiting your career growth despite your best efforts, it may be time to consider other options. Evaluate whether the differences are fundamental and unlikely to be resolved through adaptation and communication improvements. Consider whether transferring to a different team or department within your organization might provide a better fit. Assess whether the misalignment is specific to this manager or indicative of broader cultural issues within the organization. Creating your relationship improvement action plan. Phase 1. Assessment and understanding. Weeks 1-2. Conduct a thorough assessment of your manager's communication style, work preferences, priorities, and personality traits. Analyze specific examples of misalignment to identify patterns and understand the scope of the challenge. Reflect on your own style and preferences to understand where the differences lie and what adaptations might be most effective. Research your manager's background, pressures, and constraints to build empathy and understanding. Phase 2. Adaptation and communication, weeks 3-6. Begin adapting your communication style to match your manager's preferences for frequency, format, and detail level. Schedule a conversation about expectations and working styles to clarify preferences and establish agreements. Start demonstrating flexibility by trying their preferred approaches and methods, even if they feel unnatural initially. Increase your efforts to understand their perspective and show empathy for their challenges and pressures. Phase 3. Relationship building, weeks 7-10. Focus on finding and building upon common ground, shared goals, and complementary strengths. Seek regular feedback on your adaptation efforts and continue refining your approach based on their responses. Look for opportunities to collaborate on projects where your different perspectives can create value. Document improvements in your working relationship and celebrate small wins and progress. Phase 4. Evaluation and next steps, weeks 11-12. Assess the progress you've made in improving the working relationship and reducing misalignment. Determine whether additional strategies or support might be helpful for continued improvement. Consider whether the relationship has improved sufficiently or if alternative approaches might be necessary. Plan for ongoing relationship maintenance and continued adaptation as needed. Common challenges and solutions. My manager's communication style feels completely foreign to me. Focus on learning their language rather than trying to change them. Observe how they communicate with others who seem to work well with them. Practice their preferred style in low-stakes situations before using it in important conversations. I feel like I'm losing my authentic self by adapting so much. Remember that adaptation is a professional skill, not a fundamental change to who you are. You can maintain your core values and personality while adjusting your communication and work approach. Think of it as being bilingual rather than losing your native language. My manager seems to have unrealistic expectations. Work to understand the pressures and constraints that might be driving these expectations. Have honest conversations about what's realistic and propose alternative approaches that meet their underlying needs. We have completely different priorities, and I don't understand theirs. Ask questions to understand the reasoning behind their priorities. Learn about the broader organizational context, customer needs, or strategic objectives that might be influencing their focus. Advanced strategies for relationship excellence. Develop your emotional intelligence to better read and respond to your manager's moods, stress levels, and communication needs. This helps you adapt your approach in real time. Build a reputation as someone who is flexible, professional, and easy to work with. This can help overcome initial misalignments and create goodwill for ongoing relationship building. Learn to translate between different communication styles and work approaches. Become skilled at understanding what your manager really needs and finding ways to deliver it in your own style. Create systems and processes that bridge your different approaches. For example, if you prefer informal communication, but your manager likes documentation, create templates that make formal communication easier. Measuring your progress. Track improvements in communication effectiveness by noting whether misunderstandings are decreasing, whether your manager seems more satisfied with your work, and whether you feel more confident in your interactions. Monitor your manager's feedback and responses to see if they're becoming more positive, specific, and constructive over time. Assess your own stress levels and job satisfaction to ensure that your adaptation efforts are sustainable and beneficial for your well-being. Evaluate whether the improved relationship is leading to better opportunities, more challenging assignments, or increased trust and autonomy. When adaptation isn't enough. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, the misalignment may be too fundamental to bridge effectively. Recognize the signs that alternative approaches might be necessary. If your adaptation efforts are causing significant stress or requiring you to compromise your core values, the relationship may not be sustainable long-term. If your manager is unwilling to meet you halfway or acknowledge your efforts to improve the relationship, continued adaptation may not be effective. If the misalignment is impacting your performance, career growth, or well-being despite your best efforts, it may be time to consider other options. If you discover that the issues are systemic rather than specific to your relationship, broader organizational changes might be necessary. As we wrap up today's episode, remember that being on different wavelengths with your manager is a common challenge that can often be addressed through understanding, adaptation, and relationship building. The key is to approach the situation with curiosity rather than judgment, flexibility rather than rigidity, and professionalism rather than personal frustration. Most managers appreciate employees who make an effort to understand their style and adapt their approach accordingly. Start by conducting a thorough assessment of where the misalignment exists, then focus on adapting your communication and work style to better match their preferences. Build understanding and empathy for their perspective while looking for common ground and shared objectives. Remember that this is a professional skill that will serve you well throughout your career. The ability to work effectively with different types of managers and adapt to various working styles is valuable in any organization. If despite your best efforts, the relationship doesn't improve, don't take it personally. Sometimes personalities and working styles simply don't mesh, and that's okay. The important thing is that you've developed valuable skills and demonstrated professionalism in your approach. That's all for today's episode of Career Compass. Next week, we'll be exploring another crucial topic for BPO professionals looking to navigate workplace challenges and advance their careers. Until then, remember, successful careers are built on the ability to work effectively with all types of people. Invest in understanding and adapting to different working styles, and you'll find doors opening throughout your professional journey. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.